Welcome back to Inuyasha Anime Review, Part 18. This is reviewing the second Inuyasha film, Castle Beyond the Looking Glass, released in 2004. Yeah, released during a period of time where in the actual anime, Naraka was in hiding. How he came out of the hiding is the movie never explained. The movie starts off with basically the Inuyasha gang basically taking on Naraku, and basically doesn't start, doesn't immediately start there. You see Inuyasha in his human form. Yeah, you see a couple times in the movie. And looking up, Naraku's there, and they battle him for a good portion of the movie. Then he's killed. Yeah, thanks to a combination of Inuyasha, Kagome, and mostly everybody. He's killed, and then he removes Moroku's wind tunnel and restores Kaguya's heart. Kagura's heart. And Kagura, looking for some freedom, decides to... Well, all of a sudden, she's brought to the Forest of Illusion by Kana, her older sister. This could be your younger sister. And meets Kaguya. Yes. Oh, and by the way, the movie never bothers to mention, hey, why is your name similar to mine? Yeah, this is never explained. Okay, I need you to free me from this mirror and find for me these various objects. Yep. Now, these objects involve her do one of the things she's never done in the series. One of the objects is with Kohaku. Yes, Kohaku, who is basically on the run from demons because he worked for Naraku. Sagara, and of course, after Naraku is defeated, the group kind of disbands. So Moroku goes back to deal with the aftermath, basically, because his Winto is gone. And Sango, of course, finds her brother, brings back her home village, and then Kagura does something she's never done in the series. And I'm surprised the series probably never brought this up. Kagura goes to the village of the demon exterminators. Something which she never did in the series at all. And she makes her like the third character who's not one of the main characters, or Kohaku, to come to this village. The last time this happened was actually a couple of ninjas from a filler episode from Season 3. Yep. And what does Kohaku have? A shell. And one of the people she goes after, aside from Kohaku, she goes after Inuyasha for his cloak because he wants the hair of the fire rat. Yeah, it takes one of his sleeves, of course. Song with this comment later when he sees Inuyasha like, why are you dressed like a slob? And, of course, Kikyo is in the movie too. She doesn't do very much. First time we see her, she comes across the aftermath of a massacre while protecting this pot. So a girl hands off to Kikyo, who runs to Kagura, gives to her, walks off. Here's one other time after this, and that's it for her. Yeah, it's like, hi Kikyo, thank you for your walk-on appearance for about 5 minutes. Yep. As for in the case of Moroku, it's like he wants to go visit his grandfather's grave. So he tries to get Hachi to take him there. Hachi's like, no, and of course, and Moroku's like, come take a walk with me. And off screen looked like he actually beat the living crap out of him. He's like, okay, I'll go. And he fly up there and eventually meet up with a guy, which they don't have an expanded scene like, hey, do you know him? Yeah, and of course Moroku's like, he was my grandfather. And it's all about Kaguya. And of course they have to reunite with, of course he has to go off and find this person to stop her from whatever she's doing. He does reunite with Sango after this, where he proceeds to hug her and then basically rub her butt. Where he proceeds to slap him. Like, things I do for pain. Yep. Yep. And of course we also, when we first introduced to Kaguya, we see her castle behind the looking glass. It comes right out of the water. Why the heck was underwater? My guess is something she probably kidding. As for about the character herself, well, now, there's a story, of course, they mention in the movie, which actually is a real story. Yeah, this comes from an actual real-life story called The Tale of the Bamboo Cutter. I, of course, never read the book because I had no desire to read it. Yep, and the character of the Kaguya character is implied from that book, but I'll explain more about that soon. Yep, so everybody just comes together. They'll eventually, before they've beaten Naraku, before they get all split up, of course, we have Hajin, basically. Haji shows up. Well, ancestor of his who spies on Kagome and Sango. Of course, Moroku gets punished for apparently for his crime, and Shippo, of course, runs in later. It's like, hey, you spied, and I was like, okay, if you keep a secret, you become my servant. Okay, yeah, and of course, well, his present day version of himself does appear in the movie for like one scene. He does appear also in credits, and that's it for the character. Yep, it comes after Kagome's class, gives her basically some root beer, and that's the last to see of him until like the ending credits. Yep. And of course, despite ever being injured, they basically all get bandaged up thanks to Kagome's medicine. Of course, well, when Kagome is in the future, because apparently she's taking too long, so Inuyasha comes and finds her, and so they said hide, or be seen in public, by hiding in a photo booth, where the photo booth proceeds to take pictures of them. Very embarrassing pictures. Yeah, and of course he's about to use his Iron Reaver Soul, so he's like, stop that! He's about to destroy a machine. Oh, by the way, do you know who caused the machine to activate and take pictures? Kagome's little brother. Yep, her brother. Yep, because why not? Yeah, and of course she uses the pictures to create a locket later. I know I'm kind of telling events out of order, but this is the best I can remember, okay? Yep. And of course he tries to give her the rocket, but he keeps because that becomes a plot point later on. You know, Emma gets bandaged by the medicine from Kagome from the future. So yeah, say it's some mysterious healing magic. It's just medicine from the future. It's just basically bandaged from the future. And this apparently causes basically Shippo, Kilala, Kohaku, Sango, and Moroku be immune to when Kaguya activates her time freezing spell. Before this happens, she fights Inuyasha to get the Celestial Robe. And she basically kind of bounds to a tree, but doesn't fire. She fires an arrow at him, but of course this was an arrow that Kagome fired at her. Though Kagome is able to block the arrow from going to Inuyasha by basically having it pierce the Celestial Robe. Which, the Celestial Robe, I'm thinking, robe, means something you can put on. Nope, it's basically a giant sash. This is the Celestial Robe. Okay. And then she's taken to the castle. Kagura talks to her a bit. Of course, Kagura basically confronts her, like, reveals that you're not the real person. You're a demon. And what's Kagura's response? By sealing her and Kana in her mirror. Which she gets freed of it later. Somehow. Probably when it's destroyed, but I'll get to that in a minute. Yep, and then of course Inuyasha's second round fight with her was results in me throughout the castle when the time spell activates. And he uses his red Tensaiga to open up a portal to... And of course, when time freezes, we briefly see a cameo by Shishimaru and a couple other characters. Who knows the whole thing of time freezing around the area. They don't do anything. Yeah, Shishimaru, his cameo appearance is quite something because that's an appearance they get of Shishimaru. He appears a lot more in the next film. Which I'll get that when I finish up season 6. Yep, so they go in. And of course, Inuyasha has this rematch, his third round fight with Kaguya, which tries and grants his wish, becoming a full demon. Of course, Shippo basically kind of frees Kaguya by the most interesting way possible. By taking out the shards and throw it at her so she can free herself. And then after Shippo gets the shards, like, how does it free him when he's basically turning into a full demon? How? Making out with him. Yep, that was way he freed him. And, of course, also I should point out, though, she also was the first demon to block the backlash wave. Yeah, this happens in the movie as well. That happens in the previous fight between him and Kaguya. And then, of course, her mirror is shattered by Kagome. And then something weird happens. Naraku starts coming out of Kohaku's back. Yes. Why the heck he decided to hide there? No idea. He just comes out, tries to absorb the celestial being, despite not being the actual person. Of course, her body itself is eventually destroyed by the combination of the backlash wave and, of course, Kagome's sacred arrow. And turns into this blacksmith with Narako tries to absorb it, but lucky enough that because Narako is back, Moroku's wind tunnel is back, so Moroku absorbs her in his wind tunnel, and that's the last to see of her. Of course, Narako gets away with Kohaku thanks to the broken mirror, and of course, the place is of course collapsing. Oh yeah, apparently she knows Narako. She knows Narako. Oh yeah, she's got a history with Moroku's grandfather. Yeah, and the reason why he basically faked the death so he could let her out of hiding. Yep, that was the reason why, just to get her power. And he doesn't get it. So, he goes back to the mirror, and of course, everybody goes back to the way they were before. Yeah. Hongo takes the celestial rope, takes the volcano, jumps off. Of course, you see that the present day version of him is sort of on a date with all three Kagome's friends at a theme park. And, let's see. First, everyone walks up, and of course, then we have Moroku trying to make out with Sango. Doesn't really go anywhere. And he says, well, I thought maybe it's a good chance. Because, well, Inuyasha and Kagome did it. And, of course, they're embarrassed by it. And she's like, oh, yeah, you forced yourself on me. And then, of course, she gets mad at that. It says, Inuyasha, sit. Yep, and what leads to the credits. And then after the credits, we see, like a pretty happy ending, basically. Almost seems as though that the movie is implying that the characters are basically just not going to remember what happened in this movie at all. It's like the whole movie was just a distraction from the main story. Yep. This movie overall was real. Oh, almost forgot to mention. There's this one brief scene I forgot to mention where it looks like Inuyasha is fighting a giant snake demon, which actually looks like King Ghidorah from the Godzilla series. Apparently, the people who made this movie decided to throw in some music from the Godzilla movies. Yes, the King Ghidorah music. Why the heck they based this creature on King Ghidorah, I have no idea. Mostly his heads. And apparently his body, it almost looked like it was also based on Hydra. The creature Hydra, not the organization from Marvel Comics. And of course, the creature is destroyed by Kikyo. Well, the base of it anyways, I think a combination of Kikyo and Inuyasha. Yep. Is there anything else I forgot about the movie? No, I think that's pretty much it for the movie. Though the character himself, the one who's the ancestor of Hanjo, he does return to the series after this. I will get a chance to talk about his return in part. Let's see. That'll probably be probably the final part of the season. When I talk about that particular one. It'll be part. I'm just trying to make sure if I get this correct here. Yeah, I'll figure it out later, okay? So, that's it for this particular review. Until we see the next video, probably won't be happening today. Probably happening tomorrow at some point with a review of hopefully the first 13 episodes of Season 5. Case closed and My Hero Academia, okay? See you next view. Bye.